Yeah, welcome to Ham Radio Perspectives. This is kind of a sorry tale. Ham returns to Florida shack hit by Hurricane Ian. So we're going to go into this, the two of us here from Ham Radio Perspectives. My name's Quinn. I'm K8QS.
And I'm Tom WA9TDD.
And we hate to say that between the two of us, Tom is the one who has a second shack in Florida, and we're going to tell the story of what happened and his going back there and show you pictures and tell you the status of things. And he was with his second shack right near where Ian came in. And Tom's at his place in Indiana right now, so we actually have some connection from there. Tom, thanks so much for letting us get into this.
All right. Sorry I didn't have enough time to take more pictures and more commentary and take a look more around the neighborhood, but I was down there for a week trying to straighten out my place. We didn't have any power, and it was a crazy, crazy trying to drive around there. There was no power in our whole section. Um,
Yeah, so
my
we got a map up here, Tom, where your place is in Florida.
All right, my place is in Englewood, Florida. It's just south of Venice, just west of Port Charlotte, and about 40 miles north of Fort Myers. And that's where I generally spend my winters in my winter shack, so to speak. So, um,
Yeah, and of course, you and everybody else had no idea that this sucker Ian was going to be coming through there.
no, well, we had some kind of clue because of between the hurricane reports for the tropical storm, so on and so forth. The European version, the American version. As you're aware, with most of the hurricanes coming through, they have a wide path. They can change direction at any time, speed at any time. This is the proposed path of the Hurricane Ian, and it's coming up right between Tampa and Fort Myers. And it's got a pretty wide swing there, too, virtually taking up the whole width of the state of Florida. According to some of the projections.
Yeah, when you saw this, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, well, I've been there for 7 years and we've had hurricanes before. Uh, the area that I'm in, Englewood, had survived Hurricane Charlie and that had similar wind speeds. So I wasn't too particularly concerned that I was going to get any damage. And if it was damage, it would be minimal. This is a map of the true path. It hit Fort Myers at 15:10 on Wednesday, and between the surf, the water coming up into Fort Myers really did a number on Fort Myers. But the
And
next
I
slide,
called
yeah,
you earlier in the day, and you said to me it didn't look good. And then a little bit later, you sent me this. What is this that I'm about to play here?
okay, this is at 2:15 p.m. the same day. This is before the eye hit Englewood, Port Charlotte. These are the outer winds at about 55 to 60 miles an hour out of the northwest. The rain was coming down horizontally.
Okay,
Uh,
and you forwarded this to me saying that your neighbor had sent you this video. So let's take a look and listen to the video, and then we'll get your commentary on it. Well, that was nice of your neighbor to send you that, but you must have flipped out when you saw it 45 minutes before the center of this thing actually hit your area.
right. And I was concerned, but I wasn't overly concerned about it. My place has withstood 70-mile-an-hour winds before without damage. However, Ian was a horse of a different color. It went from 2:15 p.m., which is when the rain and the wind started, but it lasted 10 hours. It was a very slow moving storm. The speed got up to 145, just shy of 150 miles an hour, making it a category 5. It actually came in as a category 4, but very much on the high end. So this was before I was on the floor in a fetal position, rocking back and forth, wondering what's going to happen to my property. Subsequently, another neighbor sent me a picture of my property, at which time I went to the local big box store, loaded up a U-Haul trailer with plywood, 2x4s, my 6 kilowatt generator, camping supplies, because we had no idea what kind of situation we were going to be in, where I was going to stay, how we were going to even live down there. There was no power, so off we go. I took a 2 day trip from southern Indiana all the way down to Englewood, Florida. Fortunately, traffic wasn't a particular problem.
So you got this loaded up with all your supplies, and you're headed down there with no idea what you're going to see or what you're going to get into.
Right. I had an idea what my property looked like because of the photographs that my neighbor had sent me, and it didn't appear to be too bad. When I got down there, this is a photograph of my neighbor's property. You notice the little red tag sign on the front there. That is not a address sign. That's a condemned sign. The county came through immediately after, and anything that had at least one wall and the roof missing was automatically condemned. So we'll be seeing either a bare lot here, or we're going to be seeing a new mobile home put in there. But that's one of the first things I saw, other than the piles and piles of aluminum. Looked like an aluminum scrap yard driving up my road. This is across the road from me. This is another neighbor. This place is absolutely obliterated. The front of it's gone. The roof is gone. It looks like his little Ford Ranger is just about gone. All he's got left is his golf cart. But
Oh
you can see,
man.
but you can see the litter strewn all over. Now, Quinn, we've been Midwesterners for all of our lives, and we've seen tornado damage, and this looks similar to tornado damage. However, a tornado is what, maybe a mile and a half wide at the most, and travels a path, maybe 20 miles at the most, and leaves a path of destruction. Well, this storm was 150-mile-an-hour winds, 60 miles wide, and traveling very, very slowly. I think it took almost a whole day to get from the Gulf Coast up to around Arcadia and Sebring. And from there all the way up, it left a path of destruction.
All right, so this is your neighbor, and you said when you came into the neighborhood where your place and these others was, that it was just junk everywhere.
It looked like a aluminum recycling yard. Roofs, fences, carports, just piles, 4 feet high, piles and piles and piles of aluminum waste. On the other hand, since we were talking about tornadoes, you know how they skip around? Well, this residence here was on the one block in back of me, and it's a typical 50-year-old mobile home, and it doesn't have a scratch on it. There wasn't a piece of roofing missing. There wasn't a piece of siding missing. It pristine. The carport's
Man,
there. The awnings's still out and there. The roof is
unbelievable.
there, and it's unbelievable. We had 40% of our park, which has about 440 homes in it, that had been totally destroyed.
Mm. And here this guy sits
And here this guy sits.
Ah,
Yeah.
unbelievable. All right, so your approach, your place. This is your place before the storm.
Right. This is my place in April when we packed up and left for coming back to Indiana in the spring. Just to the right of the utility pole in the back there, you can see my vertical antenna, which is no longer in existence. I don't know where it is. It's probably floating somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico. Um,
So,
but it was an inch and a half pipe
y-
vertical.
yeah, and you've got a nice tree in the front here before the hurricane, and then you've got a nice tree over on the left, and you can kind of see your neighbor's place there. So you're pulling in, and this is your
And
place now.
this is my place now. After I had it tarped off, you can see the tree looks like it's seen better days. The vertical antenna is nowhere to be seen. Um, the roof over my lanai is totally collapsed. My carport is totally gone. And we had some water damage on the inside walls, floors. Fortunately, the back third of the trailer is where I have my ham shack. The roof remained there, and that room was perfectly intact. No water damage, uh, no wall damage, and my radio was still there. We got power back. I
Yeah, we'll
actually,
take a look at that.
yeah, well, yeah, it was still operating,
So
albeit without an antenna.
this is the side of your place.
This is the site of my place. I had a car cover and a tarp over my little Corvair there, which is totally blown off and missing. The two passenger side windows were totally blown out, and the convertible top is semi shredded. All the vinyl siding on the side is gone someplace. Again, probably floating somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico. And this was about the second day when I finally got the ladders out and started working on covering the roof. But the forces of the wind were just absolutely horrific. I'm glad I wasn't there. There were several people in the park who stayed through the whole ordeal, and they swore they would never do it again. The my advice for surviving a hurricane is get as far away as fast as possible.
Yeah, 40% of the places around you.
Yeah, there's about
Unbelievable.
a
So I'm looking here at what used to be your shack, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck. It looks like the floor is mud or something. I can't figure this out.
oh, that's not the floor. That's my countertop. That's the top of my desk.
Even oh, I see. So you took a real close-up shot here,
Right, right, yeah.
and
And it was totally untouched. You can see a little bit of separation on the wall behind it, where we got a little bit of water coming in.
hmm,
The cheapo paneling, which is going to get replaced with drywall, started to delaminate. But that was
hmm.
the only damage in that room.
Gee, amazing. And that's in the back. So you got lucky with the
I
back
got
there.
lucky. That third of the roof remained attached to the trailer. And this is me probably texting you um, after I finally got everything wrapped up. I had enough tarp that I was able to get. I figured that I went to Harbor Freight plug there uh, to get some tarp.
Yeah, this is up in Indiana.
This is up in Indiana, right? And I went in there and looking for tarps, and that blue tarp there is 59 feet long, and I only would have needed two of those to cover the trailer. Uh, but they were all out of them. All they had left was 19 foot by 19 foot. I asked him where all the tarps go because they're usually pretty well stocked up. He said, "Oh, some guy came in here and bought them all and took them down to Florida." So I ended
Oh
up
boy.
tarping with two 19 footers and a 59 footer. I had a lot of excess material, so I figured I'd cover the front too.
Okay, and uh, So this is your place now. Basically, it's sitting down there. You wrapped it up with
I'm
the
re-
tarps that you had, did a few repairs, and now you're waiting. What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for a call back from a roofer, which I've got 3 inquiries out on, to give me a quote and a timetable on getting this place re-roofed. The damage on the inside, not that's going to be easily repairable, but I spent 5 months down there a year. It's something that my wife and I can handle. We've been there before, we've done it before, we've handled fires, flood, and whatnot. So it's a matter of pulling out the old cheapo delaminating paneling, um, and part of the ceiling, and doing some drywall and patch up work. So it's some of the areas, the floors, which has got that cheap beaver board that looks like compressed coffee, has got damaged. So I'm going to have to rip that up and replace it all with plywood, but it's nothing beyond the scope of what we can do or what we've done before. So I'm pretty optimistic about getting this place back together. Considering the damage of the other mobile homes in this park, I consider myself damn lucky.
Yeah, yeah, that's something. Now, what the heck is this photo you sent me, Tom?
All right, these are the electrical contractors. The whole county of Charlotte County was without power, and they brought in FPL, brought in some other agencies. They brought in crews from as far away as Canada and North Dakota to
Hmm.
work on it. And I can't say enough about the diligence that these guys went through. Um, they had power mainly restored within a week. These guys at Pike, I believe they're out of North Carolina, are absolutely a number one, the best crews I've ever seen. The power lines that ran through our section of the park, we were quoted by other power companies that saying it would take them 2 weeks to 2 months to get power restored. So I had a neighbor that talked to one of the Pike supervisors and told him that. A whole crew showed up at 9 o'clock in the morning. By 2:30 that afternoon, they had 4 blocks of power restored, new
Hmm.
transformers, new lines, new drop lines, new everything. It was amazing.
Hmm.
And I asked them, how do you guys do this? I says we were quoted anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months before we get power back. He says we never go on to a job without a plan.
Oh,
So
wow.
so
That
hats
that's
off hats off to Pike.
yeah, that's fantastic.
And these guys too, Samaritan's Purse, they were in there. They do anything you ask them to. You need some tarping. I didn't take advantage of it because my damage compared to everybody else was, I would call it, minimal. But they were in there cleaning. They were helping rip out old ceilings,
Hmm.
walls, anything you needed. Anything you needed. They got there and they just started working and working and working. Amazing people.
I've been sending money to this operation over the years because it looks like I thought they did good work, but to have you report firsthand is really wonderful.
Absolutely. And these are the folks from Salvation Army. They did a wonderful job every day. They were at our clubhouse and they were serving hot meals. If they weren't at the clubhouse, they were driving up and down the street, stopping. If they saw you, they would offer you a hot meal, lunch, whatever, lunch, dinner. No donuts though. I was kind of, I was kind of disappointed. I was in the mood for a donut and a cup of coffee, but
Yeah.
they were serving hot lunches and hot dinners. They were there for the better part of 2 weeks.
Mm.
Marvelous job.
And so you're wrapped. You're waiting. You're hoping to go back down there, and if everything works out well, and you don't get any more rain or whatever in there, you think you're going to be able to dig it out.
I think I'm going to be able to dig it out. If I get a roof on by December, I'll be down there working. Maybe if I don't have a roof on it by December, I'll be down there working, putting my own roof on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems to me it's going to be tough for you to get anybody to work on on the roof. But I'm glad you were able to get down there, Tom, and the damage wasn't worse. I feel really badly for those 40% that were completely wiped out there, and amazed by that one guy, that inexplicable guy that just didn't have any damage at all.
Right.
But hey, it goes. So we're Ham Radio Perspectives. We thought we'd give you a little bit of a different view on some things this time. And thanks for watching this. If we have any more word on the situation down there, we'll post it down below, so you can read about it, or any particular photos. Tom, I hope I'll see you down there in what, I should be in Florida, going to North Carolina first. I'll be in Florida by January, and hope to see you there and help you out.
Well, I may be moving in with you.
Well, you're bringing up another problem.
Yeah.
We rented
What's
a
it?
place
Yeah.
down there in
Is it
the
still
area,
there?
and it's still there, but I had to cancel the reservation on it. There was damage there too, so we're trying to get rent another place, and we don't think about these things. It extends to all kinds of properties, including rental homes and all. But
Right.
at any rate, Tom, best to you. Thanks for letting us get a peek at your place, and all the best to you, man.
Well, thank you. Ham Radio, history, culture, technology, and disaster reports.
There you have it. Okay, we'll see everybody.
Okay, see ya.